you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Hi, I'm John Malice, and welcome to this edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Thursday morning. And today it's arts and culture. Your phone calls are important because we're talking about this book. It is written by a local guy, and the subject matter is of a local nature. The man who is the subject of this book is an Edison High grad who made a run at the major leagues. 436 MeTV option 11. We're back with our program in a moment.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
Very interesting program here on Connect with Me today on MeTV Fresno, Comcast Channel 187 and 43.6, because we're going to be talking about this book right here, and it's called A Split Second, The Life and Faith of Jim Aldredge. It's about a local guy who graduated from Edison High School. And you read the book, you can read this thing in like one day like I did, but you kind of understand and it kind of sinks in that life can take many twists and turns. It is so unpredictable. You can plan all you want, but you don't know what's around the corner. And the title of this book is really interesting, A Split Second, because in one split second, many moons ago, a long time ago, back in the 50s, the life of this young man changed in one split second. I do want to mention the author of this book is Jerry Geiber. He was a guest on our program. There is the book right there, A Split Second. You know, anything can happen in a split second. I mean, anything can happen to change your life, the course of your life, over the course of a lifetime. Jim Aldredge's life was changed in one split second. He is feeling the effects today. You will see what I am talking about. He made a run toward Major League Baseball. He was a great baseball talent, a great prospect. He was drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates. He came within an eyelash of going to the major leagues, but playing in a minor league game, his life changed just boom, like that, and his career was over. Live in our studio right now is Jim Aldredge, the man who graduated from Edison High School way back when. He made a run toward the major leagues, and he is the subject of this book, A Split Second, The Life and Faith of Jim Aldredge. He's a local guy. Many know him. You might also want to know something else about this man. He came back to Fresno after his failed attempt at baseball and became the city manager here in the city of Fresno for many years. He's known in all circles, sports, politics, and government. 436 MeTV option 11 if you want to call in and ask a question to our good friend here, Jim Aldredge. Back in just a moment.
Remember me?
After practicing law, Raymond Berg fought crime.
You have the right to an attorney.
As a hard-boiled detective on wheels,
Ain't it the truth?
his name is Ironside.
Perhaps you wouldn't mind saying it again.
His name is Ironside.
All right, now you've said it.
Nothing slows him down.
I want to see this one firsthand.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Back here on Connect with Me, and you know, I know that many of you that have lived a number of years, let's say 40, 50 years, 60 years, know that life is so short, and even if you live a long, prosperous life, that your life can change within a matter of minutes, within a second or two. You are not the same person, or something could just change dramatically in your life to change the course of how you want your life to not only be at the particular time, but over the course of time. Jim Aldredge has lived it. How are you, my friend? Welcome to Connect with Me.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you for being here. This is a very interesting book, and I find your life very fascinating. This is pretty much the story of your life written by Jerry Geiber.
Yes,
a couple of thoughts about the author.
Jerry is a former sports writer himself and played college baseball, I think, at San Jose State. And he's written a couple of books. One is a baseball book, and coincidentally and by accident, I guess, one is relates to the title. It has Edison Field in it, but it's not tied with this one. But we got together, and he's still doing some writing, and he's the author of it.
He's an excellent writer. There's no question about it. He's been a guest on this program once
Okay.
before. He was here last year talking about one of his other books that, that he had written. Now, let me ask you something. I mentioned to our audience during the monologue that you're a graduate of Edison High School, but you were not born in Fresno. You were born in Texas.
Yes.
Tell us what small town in Texas there. It was near Tyler, Texas.
That's right, Gilmer, Texas.
Gilmer, Texas.
And they claim that Johnny Mathis was born there, and not in San Francisco, but you know how myths and all that carry themselves. But born in Tyler, Texas, and during the war, my folks moved to California, to Richmond, California.
You were a small puppy then, right?
Oh, yeah, I was.
You were like 4 years old or something when they moved to Richmond.
Richmond, California.
Okay. Why the move? Why?
Coming to the promised land, I refer to as the promised land, getting out
During
of
the
the
war.
South.
Yeah.
Getting out of the South and coming out to work in the shipyard. And folks they didn't have to have all the qualifications because that was a wartime effort of needing a workforce, and so they came to California and Richmond.
What was the mentality like? I know you were just 4 years old when you moved here, but what do your parents tell you about Texas and what the mentality was toward African Americans during that time period, during the war?
Yeah, often referred to then as Negroes, and that it was tough back there. It was segregated, and a lot of the work that my folks did was in kind of sharecropping and in agriculture, and with the Jim Crow situation down south, it was really pretty tough, and a lot of folks came out north and up north and out west to get out of it and to try to develop a better life. And when you start thinking about areas of San Francisco around the shipyard area, some of those folks are still there, and my folks said, we'll come out there, and when the shipyard closed down, they didn't have those qualifications that they wanted to retain on those jobs like welding and so forth.
Was part of the reason that your parents moved to California was part of the to get away from the segregation?
Yeah, that's right, in Jim Crow.
Right.
Yeah, and then to come to a place where they could get a job other than in agriculture.
Right. And that what year was that?
That was about 1941.
Okay.
Beginning of the 41 and during the First World War.
Right. So now you moved to Richmond. How long did you stay there?
Until the war was over, and that was about 3 or 4 years. And then when the shipyard shut down, my mother, who's kind of the head of the household, and we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Said she didn't want to have her sons. I had an older brother
Who passed away.
And didn't want us, shining shoes, getting into illegal stuff around North Richmond, which is a pretty tough area. So she then said, let's go to another place where we understand what the employment situation is.
And that's how you ended up here.
And that was back to agriculture in the valley here.
And so that must have been about 1944, 45.
That's
something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
44, 45. Okay, let's fast forward a little bit throughout your life now. At what age did you realize that you were a pretty incredible baseball talent in your time?
I think it relates in the book to Mr. Crandall, that Crandall area. That I was at Kirk Elementary School and playing recess, and you have a little school team,
right?
And he was really a good person.
Show talent in elementary school. That doesn't mean they're going to show it in high school.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I showed it in elementary school. I didn't even make the baseball team in high school. Okay?
Yeah.
So at
And I
what age,
really liked it, you know.
right.
And
But at what age did it become serious? I guess is what I'm getting at.
I would say at about 9, 10 years old, when
Okay.
I saw a picture of Jackie Robinson
Yeah.
in the Pittsburgh Courier, and looked at this guy who
Amazing.
made money.
I know.
I mean, they taught when he was in the Negro Leagues.
Yeah.
Not the major leagues, but he
Yeah.
was in the Negro Leagues, and they carried this article about him. And I said, people get paid to play baseball?
You didn't even know.
I didn't even know. I just liked it for recess, in recess.
Recess.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Jackie was playing more than just recess, I'll tell you.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
a tremendous Hall of Famer. So 9 or 10 years old. Okay, we got about a minute here before we got to go to break. But so fast forward to, say, high school now. All of the scouts are looking at you, right?
Yeah, and it kind of started with summer league, a summer baseball school that occurred, and the late Pete Biden was the director of it, and I was 15 years old, and went out for that team, and made it. And I was the youngest guy to make the first team.
Biden's
at,
team,
baseball.
huh?
Yeah, Biden's team was a baseball school.
Yeah.
And it was KMJ. I don't want to miss another station or anything.
No, you
but
can't.
KMJ Baseball School, and that's what they had. And between the chopping cotton and working in the fields, I got a chance to go over there and, was inspired a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because scouts were coming around at the age of 15 and getting letters and so forth saying, we want to talk to you. And so I started really working at it, and I said, this is a way out of all this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, were you surprised?
Well, it was pretty good. They were, the newspaper here with Bruce Ferris and some of those folks and Tom Meehan, they were really nice to me. They liked the way I played baseball. And got some attention because I played some football
So
also.
was it your hitting that they were impressed with, from what I understand in the book?
Yeah.
You were a tremendous hitter.
Yeah, it was, I think it was the hitting, and then the fielding was supposed to be pretty good.
But that was secondary to your hitting.
Yeah, the hitting was
The hitting was the
primary
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, you could hit anybody. And we're going to get into who you faced here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. A Hall of Famer who's still around, one of the toughest. Yeah, let's not mention it. Let's tease him a little bit.
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, one of the toughest pitchers in the history of Major League Baseball. This guy faced him. You know what? You got a hit off of him. Okay? 436 MeTV. We're talking with Jim Aldredge, and the book is called A Split Second. We'll tell you how his life changed in a split second in Lincoln, Nebraska, playing baseball in just a moment.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
You know, one of the biggest things, and this reminds me of just now of what happened to Jim Aldredge here, a split second. You know, a lot of us, and I played baseball, and a lot of us, growing up as kids, you see that ball coming at you, and, it's scary. And I guess that's why I never amounted to much in baseball. I was scared of the baseball, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it gets scary.
Little League was okay, Pony League was okay, Colt League was okay, but then you started to get Babe Ruth and high school. You got guys throwing 90 miles an hour. I couldn't handle that.
Yeah.
I was scared.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of friends of mine at about the 8th and 9th grade. We were playing playground baseball, and they didn't like standing in there either.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind it,
Yeah, it's a scary proposition. There's no question about it. Think of the major leagues, how fast they throw today,
yeah.
close to 100 miles an hour. Quick call here on Connect with Me. You're on with Jim Aldredge. Your question, quickly.
Yes, Mr. Aldredge, it's an honor to see you on the show. Where can we get your book? Can I get it on Amazon
Yes.
or Where should I go to get it?
It's on Amazon as well as Kindle.
That's awesome.
So that's where it is
Okay.
now. We're working now to put it on some shelves locally. But
Great.
Amazon has
That's
it.
awesome. You're an inspiration. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you being on the show.
No question.
Have a great day.
Yeah,
thank
you
you for the call. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
I don't want to run out of time before I tell your story, so let's get right to it. You are highly touted in high school,
Yes.
okay? You played for Biden, right? Pete
Yeah.
Biden.
Yeah,
Okay.
during the summer, yeah.
During the summer. So you learned a lot from him, and you learned a lot playing baseball. You were a feared hitter. You were scouted by the Pittsburgh Pirates and signed by the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yes.
Okay, pick up the story from there a little bit.
Well, during that time, the major leagues had only 16 teams all total, 8
Yeah.
and 8.
Yeah.
And
Back in the 50s.
yeah, I was scouted by 12. 12 of them.
12 of the 16 teams
Yeah.
wanted you, and
Yeah.
Pittsburgh got you.
Yeah, New
They-
York Yankees and
Right.
some others wanted me to
And the
play for
scout,
them.
I want to quickly tell the story. The scout, they actually came to your house in
yeah.
Fresno,
Yeah.
talked to your mom, signed you to a $4,000 contract, paid you $650
That's
a
right.
month.
That's right.
Right. Okay. So now you're farmed out to their minor league team.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yep, Hollywood Stars.
The Hollywood Stars.
In the old Pacific Coast League.
Old
Yeah,
Pacific Coast
uh-huh.
League. Okay, and this is 1957, 58, somewhere in there.
Yeah, 57.
57.
It was before the Brooklyn Dodgers came
Right.
out to Los Angeles and before the New York Giants came out to San Francisco.
Now, you had another problem, a personal problem going on at the same time. You had a father who was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was abusive to your mom.
He
or
was,
not.
very.
He was.
Yeah.
She was trying to get away from him. So instead of going on to college and trying to get your education, you signed that contract to help your mother pay for a divorce.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, it was a domestic violence situation, and at the time, they wanted me to come to Stanford University and play baseball and football, as well as Cal.
See, you not only
to
had
play
talent, you had
baseball and
brains.
football. Yeah, I try to make the best of the classroom, and but I couldn't do it because I had to get her out of
The domestic situation.
A domestic situation. So I signed. They were not drafting then. They would just could
What'd that
just come.
divorce cost? What'd that cost you?
You
remember?
It was about $2,000.
About 2,000. That was a lot of money back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, when
but
we
you
went
had
through the
you
course.
had it. You had the money because you signed that contract.
Yeah.
4,000 is nothing now.
Yeah.
I mean, they make that in 30 seconds. But,
That's right.
You know, or
It was
10
a lot
seconds.
then, yeah.
It was a lot then. But
Yeah.
you were making $650 on top of that.
Yeah.
So, so now let's fast forward just a little bit more. You got your mom out of that situation.
Yeah.
You paid for the divorce. Now you're playing in the minor leagues
Yeah.
under the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. Okay, you're playing in Lincoln, Nebraska. Tell us what happened. You got on base.
Yeah.
You got how'd you get to first base? Base hit?
It was a base hit into the left field, and what they were trying to do, because I was a pretty big guy, they said, you're young enough, we got to try to get you to pull the ball because you got pretty good power.
Why did they want to make you into a pull hitter? You were not a pull hitter. You were kind of a, I mean, from what I
scattered
understand,
it all over. I mean,
you were scattering the ball all over the field.
Yeah.
What was wrong with that? Why'd they want you to be a pull
They
hitter?
thought I was big enough that I could, hit a lot of home runs because I led just prior to that the California League in triples.
Okay.
And
Okay, so now you're in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Hollywood Stars are playing. You get a base hit. You're on first base. Tell us what happened.
Yeah.
Next hitter.
the next hitter was a guy by the name of Tony Washington, who played basketball with Elgin Baylor. The guy could really run, and he hit the ball to the second baseman.
Right.
And
Double
they were trying
play
to
ball.
get a double play ball. The second baseman tossed the ball over to the shortstop, and it landed on top of second base. And the shortstop came across and didn't come up, and I went down, and it was
So he was
about-
trying to throw the ball to first
first.
base,
That's
the
right.
shortstop.
Yeah.
Instead of throwing it to first base, boom.
Yeah, he came under. It was underhanded. back to
Submarine
first.
type
Yeah.
pitch. Yeah, throw.
And hit me right in the eye, and
Directly in the eye.
Yeah.
The left eye.
That's right.
Okay. take your glasses off if you want to show our audience what happened.
Yeah, I mean, watch. This is one of those things you don't want to see it. You see the left eye, it's damaged.
It's gone. You can't see,
yeah,
right?
It's gone. You probably wonder, because it burst like a grape, and they stuck a needle about 3 inches down in there to try to stop the bleeding that night.
They took you to the hospital to try to stop the bleeding. The needle goes in. Did you suffer concussion?
No.
Okay.
It was just directly in the eye, and and folks, the reason I have this is just to show it to young folks as proof of what can happen real quick,
and how it can change your life real quick.
And in that split second, it was like this. It's all over, because that's your lead eye for hitting, and the depth perception is still lost and was lost then, and so I had to do something. You had the choice of coming back and talking about what you used to do, and maybe start drinking wine or whatever it might be with the guys, as opposed to going to school. So I chose school.
We got to take a break, but you might think that maybe Jim Aldredge gave up. Not true, my friends. With one eye, he came back. I'll tell you how. 436 MeTV option 11. Fascinating story. Not only how can your life change in a split second, but it's a story about, hey, just because something does happen doesn't mean you have to give up. Just keep going. Back with our guest in a moment.
Now, why don't you tell us the whole story right from the beginning? All right, from the beginning. This is the city, Los Angeles, California. My name's Friday. I carry a badge. Police officers.
You any idea who the other man was?
My partner's Bill Gannon.
Program?
We got just one big question.
Yeah.
When?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
And we'll put the book up one more time. It's called The Split Second by Jerry Geiber. Jim Aldredge is the subject of this book. Edison High grad, moved here when he was 4 years old to California and then to Fresno eventually. And so, picking it up in Lincoln, Nebraska, thought your career was over. Boom, you're hit in the eye by the shortstop trying to throw to first base. Your eye just basically explodes.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, you're blind in this eye today, but at the time you were 19 years old, you thought your career was over. Suddenly, the Pirates release you, right?
Yeah.
They released you, so you came back to Fresno to do what?
I came back and to go to school.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, I worked for the Parks and Recreation Department as an umpire, and nobody knows. Don't ask, don't tell. And,
nobody knows.
I did softball, you know.
Yeah.
And
then one day you get a call from the Mets.
Yeah, the New York Mets.
Yeah,
because I had played baseball against the manager then, and he says, "Hey, I'm scouting now. Why don't you come over and try out?"
So you did. Where'd you have to go for that?
It was over in Salinas.
Yeah.
And but prior to then, it was the old Kansas City Athletics.
I thought the Athletics came after that.
No, Athletics came before.
Oh, there was the Athletics first.
Yeah.
Then the New York Mets. So you got so.
Then I went back and signed a contract. I signed a contract after with the bad eye with Lloyd Christopher.
Right, but let's back up. So Kansas City calls you first.
Yeah. What
happened with Kansas City?
Well, I went. I worked out for them, and they said you're pretty good. I mean, you really look good, and so they signed me to a AAA contract with the Portland Beavers.
Okay.
And I played and had a good spring, and they made a trade with the New York Yankees. You're a Kansas City person, and with the Yankees used to trade all the time with Kansas City, and they got this guy by the name of Russ Snyder on a trade, and I was the youngest guy at Portland at the age of 19, and we had started the season, and they made the trade when we were in Phoenix one night,
right,
and warming up, and Willie McCovey, Jose Pagan,
right,
Wayne
former Giants,
Dusty Rhodes, those guys were at Phoenix at the time.
And you played against those guys, all those former Giants.
Yeah, and I got my notice that they had made the trade and that I was going to be sent out to Shreveport, Louisiana.
And you didn't want to go?
Well, no, I was willing to go, but they found out that this Jim Aldredge guy with a kind of Irish or English name, I don't know where it came from, was African American, and I couldn't go to Shreveport because they said they had their quota of 2 people of color
Right.
And so, that kind of blocked that, and that went from AAA down to AA. But Tommy Heath wanted to keep me, but the head office said, no, with the trade and all that, you got to go down to a lower part of the minor league.
So you didn't want to do that, and so your career with the Kansas City team, the A's, basically, it was over.
That's right.
Yeah. And then you came back to Fresno again to continue your education.
That's right.
And then you get a call from the Mets.
Yeah, then I get a call from the New York Mets, and they wanted me to try out because they had heard about hey, look, you had some tough luck between the race stuff and being the youngest guy on the team.
Right. Quickly, what happened with the Mets? What happened with the Mets? Why
went over there and worked out, and by that time I had gotten my degree because I was going to school year-round. I had a degree, and I went over there, and I was doing very well. They said, well, we're trying to get you to Buffalo in the International League. And so I said, okay. But then one morning I said, what am I doing out here? What if some of these guys hit me in the eye? The other, I'm blind. And so I told Ray Perry, I said, hey, look, thanks a lot. I appreciate it, but I'm taking my degree back home to go to work.
Right.
And to continue to get a
and
master's
you took
degree.
You took the train back to Fresno,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And a buddy of yours or somebody gave you a ride home?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. We only have 3 minutes left. Talk about the racism that you experienced throughout your entire experience in baseball.
Yeah, that was prior to, Civil Rights Act, because this was in 1959, and the Civil Rights signed by President Johnson was in 64.
But you had issues, what? Restaurants you couldn't eat in?
That's right. And
hotels you couldn't stay in?
That's right. And even in spring training, when we went to Jacksonville, Florida, with Don Clendenin and Al Jackson, we stayed over in the ghetto where they didn't even have streets. They had muddy roads and all that. The white players stayed on the beach in better situation.
Could you ride on the same bus with the team?
Yeah, they let us because the team bus came and picked us
but
up.
But oftentimes you were shuffled to the back of the hotel or the back of a restaurant or something that because of the color of your skin.
Yeah. No, in the Western League, we were asked one time when we were coming through Delhart, Texas, stay on the bus because they had to find a place for us to eat and where we were going to sleep at this motel.
Listen, we only got a couple of minutes. I just want to mention to our audience that some of the players that he played with and against, Don Clendenin, former New York Mets, and he won the World Series with the Mets in '69. Al Jackson, the pitcher for the Pirates. Al McBean, pitcher for the Pirates. Elmo Plaskett, pitcher or catcher for the Pirates. He also faced the Hall of Famer Bob Gibson of the St. Louis Cardinals down in the minor leagues, Daytona Beach, 1958. Yeah. You broke up his no-hitter, by the way.
Yeah, that's right, in the sixth inning.
And he gave you a glare.
Oh, yeah, he stared me down on first base. And I'm saying, I'm out here trying to survive myself, That's what I said to myself. But, they beat us, and he threw a one-hitter that day, and I got a hit off of it.
Did you talk to your father at all after that? After the divorce?
Very little.
Yeah.
Very, very little. And there was part in the book where, I said, hey, look, if you let us stay in your house, I'll pay you back, and that's why I signed, so.
Yeah, but you came back, you got your education, you worked for the city of Fresno.
Yeah, and I'm proud to have gotten a doctorate degree to go past the city stuff and to teach at the university.
That's amazing.
Because I got on a roll. I said, I can do this stuff as far as education is concerned, so I just went and got a PhD.
Well, yeah, you're a smart guy. I mean, we call you Dr. Aldredge. Listen, 30 seconds here. Your message to kids now is what? What's your main message with this book?
If you're in athletics or if you are in school, your lifetime insurance policy is an education, and don't pass it up.
And the proof in the pudding is your eye.
That's right, and in a split second, even if you're a good athlete, it can be all over, but you got to have a brain because nobody will join you in a pity party. I mean, it's like they go to the next player, in the professional athletics as well as college, and it's the academics, and if you really try, and keep trying, you can get through that academic stuff.
I'd like you to come back at some point, maybe
Okay.
early next year. You can talk about the second half of this book because it's the second half of your life. It talks about education, how you got the doctorate. But we're out of time. They're going to
Okay,
cut
thank
me
you
off.
thank you
I'm
very
going to call
much.
you Dr. Aldredge. Is that okay?
That's okay.
Dr. Jim
Yeah, all right.
Aldredge.
Thank you
what
very
an
much.
incredible, inspirational story.
Thank you.
You come back. You're welcome here anytime. I'm going to have you back, Dr.
Okay, that's
Aldredge.
good. I will
All
appreciate
right.
it.
Dr. Jim Aldredge. The book is called A Split Second. That's going to do it for us. We're back tomorrow with another edition of Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno.